Welcome back, guys. I don't really have great news. I have some terrible things to tell you about. And unfortunately, this might affect every Magic the Gathering YouTube channel that's out there. So, you guys have probably heard something about the COPPA rules that are going on right now, the COPPA, that's being enforced by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. And it's actually, they've actually reached out to YouTube and Google, and they've sued them and they've settled out of court, and there's this whole thing going on. For those of you who haven't heard, there's actually a really big thing going on, and make a long story short, it literally might not only take down every single Magic the Gathering channel that's out there, either one way or another, but it might just basically destroy YouTube for kids in general, and even things that are even in the gray area between like adult and kids and things that are in this middle ground, it might just demolish those too. So what's basically going on, I'm not going to recap the entire thing because it's done in other videos. I'm going to mostly focus on like Magic the Gathering channels, but the quick recap is that these rules were put in place by well-intended people way back in like 1991 that was intended to stop the tracking of data for people that are considered young, like under 13. And YouTube has been collecting that data for people for a while. And all of these parents complained and the rules got updated. And then eventually the FTC came to YouTube and said, you guys are collecting data for kids. And YouTube said, no, we're not, because people have to be 13 or over. And then they said, well, here's a bunch of data where like your channel content for your creators is targeting kids, and here's YouTube Kids, and here's all this data, validly so. And then YouTube, instead of like owning it that they've been doing it, basically settled with the FTC out of court, and then is now allowing the FTC to just bypass them and come right for the content creators. And to be very clear, the issue is not that any of these channels are necessarily or aren't like bad content for kids, like as if we're swearing or doing terrible things. The problem isn't that. The problem is that kids might be watching, they might be interested, and the content that we're creating is allowing YouTube to data track those kids' behaviors, and it's the data tracking that's the problem. And the FTC is going to sue us content creators for the data tracking, even though we're not the ones that are actually tracking the data. Now, here's the big story that it all comes down to. Every content creator on YouTube, all of us, we've got like two choices. You can either say, yes, my content is targeting children, or you can say, my content is not targeting children. And if you say, yes, my content's targeting children, you might as well just give up and go do something else, because you got no more comments in your videos. You will not show up in searches. You will not show up in recommended videos. Notifications won't work. You will not be able to monetize your channel. You will not have a community page. You will not be able to live stream. It's like you're basically dead, right? Just go do something else. Forget it, right? That's if you say you're for kids, because again, they don't want kids stuff on YouTube because there's data tracking. So you say you're for kids, you're done, right? Now, if you risk it and you say my content's not for kids, right? Which my content is obviously not. Magic the Gathering is a game that's made for 13 and up, right? And I have finance and Bitcoin videos and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not for kids. Kids might watch it. I got no problem with that, but it's not targeting them, right? But that doesn't matter. If you say my content is not for kids, that doesn't protect you. The FTC on their own can evaluate your content. And if like one of like almost any number of things pops up that makes them think that it could be targeting kids, like you got loud noises, you're making funny sounds, or you got toys in the background, or you talk about games or something like that, then they might deem you as targeting children, and therefore they actually have the right to actually go after you as a content creator and even fine you. Listen, fine you up to $42,000 some dollars per video on your channel, right? So if you have like 100 videos on your channel or something like that, oh my gosh, what is that? Is that like 4.2 million or something like that? Oh, it's just crazy amounts. So it's just ridiculous. So if you actually say I'm not intended for kids. I'm intended for adults. You're taking this massive financial risk that they might actually come after you and sue you. So it all comes down to whether or not are they going to consider you kids or not. And all the information they've put out there, it's very vague, man. Very vague. It's not clear. So nobody knows. And who's going to be targeted for these massive fines? They're not even clear on that. So basically, I put up a video and I make like $3 to $10 a video or something like that, and let it ride and risk it, and maybe be sued $42,000 per. Or I take them all down to say that I'm a child content provider, and then I'm not going to get sued, but my channel's dead. So here's the problem. Magic the Gathering, guys. I'm talking about Alpha Investments. I'm talking about Open Boosters. I'm talking about Tellurian Community College. All of them, right? All Magic the Gathering. Well, Magic the Gathering is a game. Look at this. Look at this game that we're playing. And kids can play this game, and it's sold in stores next to toys sometimes. And kids might get into it, and Wizards of the Coast does advertisements with cartoons and stuff on it. They might consider this a kid thing. So anybody who does Magic might be liable, might be stuck. So until something else comes out, until there's some other information on this, as far as I can tell, any Magic the Gathering creator that decides to not mark their stuff as like for kids and just basically disappear from the face of the earth effectively, anyone who takes that risk, man, you might find yourself with more fines than you've ever heard of or seen in your entire life. That's where it's at. That's the COPPA. So hopefully something else changes. As far as I know, it's January 1st is the stop date when all this goes down. Yeah, I don't even completely know how to protect yourself. I think I can just set my whole channel for kid and maybe even just take the channel down and then I'll be safe. I don't even completely know. It's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. So that's the situation. I'm really sorry to report that, guys. So I wish I'd say like and subscribe, but what's the point, right? Yeah, good luck, guys. Bye.